Hello everyone, this is Carrie from Celestial Forecasts with another reading for you guys. This particular one will be focusing on the Divine Masculine. So if this is something that you would be interested in watching, hopefully there's something here that I'll be able to tap into when it comes to you and your masculine. These are the decks that I'll be using, 2 of my own, volume 1 and 2 of my Thinking Man Oracle, and I will be clarifying everything with the Pining Rose Tarot, which is by CALICO Moon. General advice as always, so only take the parts of it that do resonate for you and release the rest. Let's get into it. Taurus, welcome guys. So let's go ahead and get some cards focusing on the masculine. I'm guided to pull 4, so maybe 2 from each deck. All right, here we go. For Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, focusing on the Divine Masculine. So what does your masculine want to say to you at this time? And from the 4 cards that I will be pulling, you don't have to resonate with each one. Maybe there's a message that really speaks to you. That doesn't mean they all have to go together unless it does. But these are the 2 that came out so far. I never had a good example of what a loyal, loving, lasting relationship could be like. I just knew hurt, pain, and abandonment. Are you sure you want me? So that's a question that you need to ask yourself, Divine Feminine, especially if you and your masculine are going through some issues because of what has happened in their life prior to maybe meeting you, you know, and they're telling you right here, it's like, I don't know what it's like to be loyal or loving. I've never seen it growing up, you know. I just know that I've been hurt in the past, and that is how they're coming through in this reading, letting you know. It's like, be mindful of what you're getting into, you know. So it's almost this type of vibe where they're waving this red flag. It's like, hey, you know, pay attention to this red flag because that's what I'm about. Okay, so take that if it makes sense. This is the next card that came through. Sometimes when I don't respond right away, it's because I'm so overwhelmed with what I want to say to you. Okay, so maybe you've reached out to your masculine, but, you know, it could be something like you sent them a text, or maybe you reached out online, or you tried to call, but you ended up leaving a message, or you were left on read and they ended up not responding. And maybe you're feeling like, okay, I've been ghosted. But this could be simply because this masculine needs a little bit more time to formulate what it is that they want to say. All right, so let's grab another 2. Angels and spirit guides, please, for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, focusing on the Divine Masculine. Okay. He's really wanting to know, are we really done? And you can only answer that for yourself, Divine Feminine. You know, you will know if you're really done, depending on how things have unfolded between you and your masculine, or maybe something that you guys are currently going through. Especially if you guys are at odds with one another, you're in disagreement, you're arguing, you're just not seeing eye to eye. And that could have resulted in a conversation. Maybe you gave them an ultimatum. It's like, this has to happen or else. And maybe they weren't able to promise you or tell you what it was that you wanted to hear. So it could have been a situation where you guys are about to break up, or you have broken up. And this is a masculine wondering, is this really it for us? You know, are we really done? So let me grab one more. So again, only take the message that makes sense for you and your masculine, unless all of it does. Let me grab one more for Taurus. Look at this. Are we really done? Be with me. So I have a situation here, guys, where, because we have to take this into account, even though they're waving the red flag, they know that they're not good for you. They don't want to be alone either. You know, there's something about you that they are drawn to. So be mindful. Is this a good idea to invest your time and energy and your heart into your masculine? Or is it best for you to keep your distance at this time until if that is even possible, for them to figure themselves out and to maybe do shadow work on their part to be able to heal parts of themselves that need it, because it's not your job to heal them. They need to focus on that for themselves. So this is what's coming through, though, from your masculine, especially if you guys are at a stalemate, you're not getting along, there are some challenges, maybe you guys have been through a tower moment and either no contact, you're apart, you're not together, but there's still this desire right here that indicates be with me. But, you know, instinctively, guys, I'm also feeling this codependency. It's like, be with me because no one else wants to be with me because of all of their issues, all of his issues, right? So I'm kind of getting for some of you that you're kind of carrying the burden of your masculine when really it's not your job to do so. You know, I hope that makes sense. But let's go ahead and clarify with tarot here. Let's see what needs to come through. So I'm kind of feeling the Ten of Wands energy, the Death card energy, Tower. So let's see if any of those cards are coming through. For Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, focusing on the Divine Masculine. What do we need to know here? Well, beautiful card. Okay, so we've got the Wheel of Fortune. I want to grab some surrounding cards to go along with that, because that's actually a good sign if the surrounding cards are good as well, because it could be telling you that there's this change that's wanting to come in for you. But if you're holding on to maybe a karmic partnership or maybe a toxic relationship, then that needs to be recognized, right? So, okay, guys, so we've got the Seven of Swords. That is followed by the Three of Swords. So we do have some challenges coming through here. The Five of Pentacles. Do you feel, Divine Feminine, that you can trust your masculine? Based off of what I am seeing here, you have your concerns. It could also have had something to do with maybe a third-party situation. If not, you know, I'm just feeling here that your masculine just hasn't let you in fully into his heart, into his life, kind of at an arm's length, you know. But for those of you who have had to deal with a cheating partner, you know, that could have been a challenge. It could have been a very hurtful situation. So if you are in separation from your masculine, I feel you're still healing from that. You know, Seven of Swords, I mean, betrayal, cheating, getting away with something, deceptive, right? So if that describes your masculine, no wonder how you're probably still processing the pain from this entire experience. If you have broken things off with your masculine, if you actually empowered yourself to do the right thing for your life, so the Five of Pentacles could be how your masculine is dealing with the breakup. Basically, he's struggling, maybe financially, or of course personally, he's not in a good place. So, you know, maybe life overall is just not going well for this masculine. So I'm really feeling for my feminines, you know, I'm sure you have love in your heart for your masculine, but, you know, we can't forget this message right here. I never had a good example of what a loyal, loving, lasting relationship could be like. I just knew hurt, pain, and abandonment. Are you sure you want me? You know? So it's like he knows he's not good for you, but at the same time, he's like, be with me, because he doesn't want to be alone. But that's not a good enough reason to be in a relationship with someone just because you want company, right? So if you have distanced yourself from an unhealthy relationship, Divine Feminine. I feel this is your time to focus on you. So let's see if this masculine can actually turn things around here. All right, what else? I'm actually glad to see that, because if your masculine is working on himself, as he should, then that's a good sign. That's an indication that at least he's trying to improve who he is as a person and the quality of his life, you know? We do have the Nine of Swords. I mean, the image says it all. Anxiety, insomnia, nightmares, fears. I feel there's a lot of this type of energy surrounding your masculine. It really keeps going back to this. The hurt, the pain, abandonment issues. You know, maybe he grew up in a broken home, or it could have been a relationship that really traumatized your masculine to the point where, you know, Nine of Swords, I always equate it to somebody who's staring up at the ceiling, unable to get any sleep. It's just this really anxious, unsettling type energy. And maybe that's how this masculine feels about you, Divine Feminine. It's like, oh my God, what have I done? It's like, I had a really good person, but at the same time, I'm not a good person. I'm not in the right place to be in a relationship. So he needs to be able to address that and deal with it, I feel, Divine Feminine, if that makes sense. We do have the Magician. So I'm getting a couple of different messages for this one, Divine Feminine. I feel that if your masculine can actually focus on his growth, shadow work, healing any particular behaviors that could be standing in the way of union or progress for the two of you, if he can actually do that work, then I feel this is possible to be able to manifest a new beginning, to be able to manifest you back in his life. You know, so it's not impossible for you guys to ultimately work it out, but I feel this is a masculine who really needs to step it up, and step it up big time. It's not going to come down to just small changes that are temporary. It has to be huge changes that has what it takes to go the distance if you guys really are to make this work. I'm feeling one of those 50-50 type vibes for this one. Half of you will want to work it out with this masculine. Half of you would prefer, you know, to just keep your distance because it is either toxic, or you know that this is a karmic situation. You learn the lesson behind it and you're just moving on. You got to do what feels right in your heart at the end of the day. All right, guys, so that is what's coming through here. Hopefully there's something in the messages that assists you and gives you a better understanding of what's going on with the masculine, but that is what I have. If you are interested in your own reading, I'd love to do that for you. That info is down below in the description box. And of course, I'll go ahead and link these decks down below. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.